Hey everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to my channel, This Story Ain't Over. So today, since we are nearing the end of 2021, I thought a lot of you may be thinking, next year I want to do XYZ, and one of those things might possibly be starting a booktube channel. I started my channel way back in 2017, at the end of 2017, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made because it's brought me here today, where I get to put out videos on the regular and talk to so many of you and just share my love of reading, and that is just the most incredible thing I could have ever imagined. So thank you to all of you who do watch my channel and subscribe and like and all those things. And so with that in mind, knowing how much I love doing this and knowing that many of you may be thinking about starting a booktube channel, I thought I would give you a quick primer on how to start a booktube channel in 2022. So running a booktube channel is quite a big endeavor, but starting it can be quite simple if you just follow a few simple and easy tips to get you started. So in this video, we're going to go through a few different topics, including why you want to start your channel and what your goals are for it. Then we'll get into equipment and what you can use to start filming and what I use. And then we'll get into filming and some best practices for that. And following that, we'll get into a little bit of a thumbnail tutorial sponsored by PixArt. And then I'll briefly touch on editing and some tips I have for that, but I'm not going to get too granular into it. And then finally, we'll talk about uploading and what you can do after uploading to help your videos perform better and also just help the health of your channel. So for this video, I wanted to make it quite specifically catered towards someone who wants to start a booktube channel. I am mostly a booktube channel. I don't feel like I have very many insights on, general YouTubing. There are so many other great resources out there, and I'll try to leave a few down below that I particularly love that you can go check out on all of the different topics that I'm going to talk about today. But this is just a very brief and intro primer for those of you who have never really thought about getting into YouTube or trying to start a channel, or maybe those of you who have been thinking about it for a while but have never really researched it or looked into it. This is just a very, very intro level video. And so with that said, I think the first thing that you need to consider when you're starting a booktube channel is why you want to do it and what your goals are going to be for it. So I think most people usually fall into two different categories. They either A, want to casually talk about books. They either don't really have a lot of friends who talk about books in real life, or maybe they watch a lot of booktube and they just want to add their voice to the conversation, talk about their opinions on books and just connect with other people who also enjoy books. So that is sort of one category of people. They just want to casually talk about books. They don't really care about the YouTube side of things and sort of growing your channel and creating content. That is sort of secondary. The books aspect is sort of the main focus for those people. On the flip side, the second type of person I would say who would want to start a booktube channel probably has all of the characteristics of the first type of person, but they have an added aspect of wanting to actually create content that they are proud of, content that they want to share with other people, and also want to build some sort of platform and place to connect with people, but also, increase their reach and see their channel grow overall for other opportunities along the way. And so whichever type of person you are, both of these are great, whether you just want to casually talk about books or you want to actually start something to invest in and, grow for the future. Either one is fantastic and great reasons to get into booktubing. But I do think there is the third type of person who thinks that starting a booktube channel is the way to YouTube fame. And this is a very small percentage of people, I would say. But these are the people who often don't realize that booktube is actually quite a small section of YouTube and is actually full of creators who have much smaller followings than other parts of YouTube, other niches on YouTube, whether it's beauty or comedy. You can get super big and grow massively in some of those niches in ways that you can't really in booktube, I would say, just because it is so niche and there are not as many people who read books as opposed to people who just like funny content, if that makes sense. So I would say for those of you who are here to just get big, it's probably not going to happen because booktube is a very book-specific place and you're here for the books and for the love of books and for the love of reading. Regardless of how frequently we do it, we just love talking about books, and so that is the main objective and point of it. And so if you don't like books, don't start a booktube channel. Start a different channel. If you just want to start a YouTube channel, think about a different niche that fits you and start that. And then just another note on this idea of this A or B type of person who wants to start a booktube channel. I started my channel quite literally as a person who just wanted to casually talk about books. I did watch a lot of Booktube and I, loved a lot of bigger creators and I did want to see myself like them one day, but I think the initial starting point for the channel was that I just wanted to talk about books. I just wanted to make friends with people who also talked about books, and I also wanted to just add my opinion into the conversation. I had book blogged before, and so Booktube just seemed like the natural progression for me, and that was just the main, motivation behind it. I just wanted to do something creative and fun. But I will say that I moved from the A type of person, so like the casual booktuber, to the B type of person, the content creator, quite quickly. I love books and books is always going to be my focus, but I do think I loved the idea of creating content and fun and engaging content, and also talking to more people and seeing my channel grow, getting to do consistent content as well, and trying new ideas and all of that. And I think I just really fell in love with the content creation part of Booktube as well, and not only just casually talking about books. I wanted to talk to as many people as I could, and that meant wanting to grow my channel. Alrighty, next let's get into equipment. So I am nowhere near an authority on anything, camera or light or microphone related. There are so many videos on YouTube that you can go watch that will tell you more relevant and, sound information about all of these things. I'm just here to tell you like my hacky ways of getting things done and things that have worked for me. So initially when I started on a very old camera that my family had that we didn't really use anymore. We just had sort of shifted to using our phones at family events and stuff, but this was a camera that we had just on hand. So that's the one that I used when I started my channel, and I honestly didn't know how to work it that well. It was a really old DSLR camera that I don't even know the name for, and we don't have it anymore, but that is what I had. And after about 6 months of using that camera in the initial stages of my channel, which many of those videos you can't actually watch right now because I think I privated all of them, I ended up buying a camera myself, and that was this camera, which is the Canon PowerShot G7X Mark II. This is a really popular camera for like vlogging. A lot of booktubers have it, but also like a lot of people on YouTube, like general YouTubers, have this camera. It's really great because it's got like the flip up screen on it, and like you can pull it out and all of that. And that was the main reason why I wanted this camera, was because I wanted to be able to see myself while I was filming. I think that was like a major thing, especially when you're filming like a lot of these sit down videos. It's useful to be able to see what you're doing with your face and, with your actions, and seeing if your book is in frame, that sort of thing. So that was the main reason why I got this camera. And so this is what I used for quite a few years until the end of 2020, which is when I bought my new camera, which is the one you are watching me on today. This is the Canon EOS M50, I believe. And this one I have a Rode mic that connects to it. And this is the one that I use regularly now for all of my sit down videos. I rarely even use this camera as well anymore. I only use it for like very specific situations when I'm like out vlogging and I don't want to carry around my bigger camera. But even then, my current camera, the Canon EOS M50, is quite small, which is another reason why I wanted it. It also has a pull-out screen, which makes it really easy to use, and I can like monitor what I'm doing and see what I'm doing. So this is me looking at the camera, and then this is me looking at the screen. So you can sort of see the difference. It's on the side rather than on the top. So those are the cameras that I have used over the course of my channel, those 3 different ones, but mainly like the 2. I feel like the G7X and the M50 are the main ones that you guys have seen, and I found that both of them are really useful, easy to use, and quite affordable as well. I have like experimented a lot after getting the M50. I was using it one way, and then I started shooting in a different like color profile as well, and like upping my editing. So I think all of this is like stuff that is in flux that you can change as you go along and as you learn more things. So that's like the main thing I would keep in mind. Like you don't have to, get the most expensive camera or like the most advanced thing from the get-go. Like you can work your way up to it and you can learn things as you go along. I think the main focus of your equipment is that they should get the job done in a timely and easy manner. So this is where I come to you with my recommendations for equipment when you are starting out. I think a rule of thumb is that you shouldn't invest a bunch of money into equipment for your booktube channel unless A, you're planning to put in a lot of work and a time to see this hobby through and see it, grow, or B, you've already seen your channel grow quite a lot, and so it's worth going back and investing so that you can continue that growth. The reason I say this is because if you're a casual booktuber, you just care about talking about the books but not really about growing, I don't think it makes sense to spend a bunch of money on equipment that isn't really going to benefit you and you're not going to get a return for that money you spent. Obviously, you can just choose to buy the expensive equipment regardless if you have the disposable income, if you just want to have nicer videos, even regardless of, you know, getting the return. But if you're tight on money, or if it's like definitely going to be an investment for you, then you want to see a return on it. And then the reason I say if you've already seen growth, then I think it's always worth investing to see further growth. That's sort of what I did. When I got the G7X, it was mainly because I wanted my own camera regardless of YouTube, and it was sort of like a just treat for myself, so I had a little bit of disposable income to grab that camera. But when I bought the Canon EOS M50, it was really more of an upgrade. The G7X was still working, it still was great. I liked the quality of my videos, but I wanted to sort of upgrade them. I wanted to give a different look to my videos and sort of make them seem a little bit more professional. And my channel had also already grown a lot by that point. I think at the end of 2020, I was at around 40,000 subscribers, which is quite a decent amount. And I was already getting like regular AdSense money, regular sponsorships. And so at that point, I had made quite a bit of money off YouTube alone, that making this investment was worth it because I would then in turn make more of that money back afterwards. So these are just things to sort of think about, you know, don't invest until you are growing or you want to actually invest more time and energy. I think even if you get the equipment, unless you're putting the work and effort into doing this thing, the equipment's not gonna matter. And so with that said, I think when you're starting out, you do not even need a DSLR camera, you do not even need a fancy camera. Most of us who are privileged enough, we have smartphones which come with cameras that are actually really freaking awesome these days and are perfectly capable of shooting a video for you. It's also really easy to get a phone stand for really cheap, like you don't need a fancy tripod. They usually have like sort of basic tripods with like a phone attachment so that you can slot your phone in and then you don't have to like lean it against something. In terms of lighting, the only thing I've invested in is a ring light, and I'll leave the link for it down below if you guys want to see it. It's one that I'm using actually right now. You can sort of see the reflection of it in my picture frame there, but it's over here because my windows are on this side, so I don't get enough light on this side, so that's why it's there. And that's particularly because I'm filming from this angle. But the other videos that you guys usually see where I'm in front of my bookshelves, I actually don't use any sort of lighting at all. I just use the natural light from my windows. So my windows are on this side and my bookshelves are on this side. And so when I'm standing in front of my bookshelves, the natural light from my windows is just coming at me. And so it brightens up the video considerably. And so my tip here is to use natural light as much as you can. It always looks better than artificial light, and it's just so easy and free. Some of my super early videos, I didn't actually film facing my windows, and so the lighting was always like sort of off. But the moment I rearranged my room so I could film facing my windows, it totally changed the game and made my videos look so much better. So yeah, if you can film during the daytime, I usually film on like Saturday mornings, it'll really help you out because you can just use the natural light. So yeah, in terms of equipment, that's basically all I use. My camera, my ring light, and then the Rode mic attached to my camera, which I will also leave linked down below so you guys can check it out. But yeah, I don't have like major insights on like fancy equipment. I think to start you out, you just need something that will shoot some videos and also some natural light. Alrighty, so we sort of touched on some of the filming things while I was talking about equipment, but I'm just gonna go through a few quick tips. So my first biggest tip for filming is to bulk film your videos. This is what I do all the time. My designated filming time each week is Saturday mornings. And since I live with my family, they already know this and they're always aware that like Saturday mornings Jenny's gonna film, and so I wake up early on Saturday mornings and I have a list of videos that I want to go up in the next couple weeks that I need to film, and so I will have them all planned out earlier in the week so that when Saturday morning comes, I can just sit there and film all of these videos. And what I'll usually do is put my makeup on and then I will like change my outfit in between each video so that it feels like it was filmed on a different day. This is a really easy way to make sure that your content is consistent and also just save you some time later on. If you plan your videos ahead, then you can film them on a specific day, and then you can spend the rest of the week just editing the videos as well. This also helps if you are planning to not post that frequently. I film basically every weekend because I usually have 2 videos going up each week, but if you are only putting up 1 video a week, oftentimes you can probably pre-film like 2 or 3 videos one like weekend morning for like the entire month. So it just really depends on your frequency, but that also saves you time. If you just do it one day, you don't have to worry about like getting ready again, getting set up again with your camera or whatever to film. We already sort of talked about lighting and equipment, you know, facing natural light, facing a window, filming during daytime. But another major tip that I have for filming is talking to the camera like you were talking to a friend. I think for a lot of people when they're starting off on YouTube or Booktube, it's really hard to talk to a camera, you know, getting a chemistry with a camera and also just feeling comfortable in front of a camera, knowing that someone is going to be looking at every aspect of your body that is on camera. That is like scary stuff, and it is hard to get used to, and it feels really awkward in the beginning. I was super awkward when I first started filming my videos. I hated having anyone like nearby who could hear me talk, and it just felt really embarrassing and like awkward. But it's something that when you film a lot of videos, you start to get a lot more practice and you start to get a lot more comfortable in front of the camera, to the point that when you are really comfortable, it just feels like when you're talking to the camera, you're talking to a friend who is just sitting on the other side and you're just telling them a story or, you know, telling them about a book you love. So that's sort of how I approach it these days, and I'm quite comfortable with the camera these days. But back in the day, it was quite difficult. And I think all of us sort of go through different phases of like putting on different personas for the camera, and it's honestly up to you. Some people are quite different on camera than they are in real life. A lot of times people expect you to be a little bit more animated and engaging when you're on camera, which is just an element of trying to keep their attention. But I don't think you need to fully force it. You don't need to talk super loudly if you don't usually talk loudly. You don't need to be super bubbly if you're not usually super bubbly. I think your main objective should be getting your own personality across through the camera so that the person on the other side who's watching your video will be able to get to know you as a person and want to follow you, subscribe to your channel, and hear you talk about the books that you love. I think that's the most important part of that. Alrighty, I'm in a little bit of a different setup because I'm going to be going through thumbnails next and doing a bit of a tutorial as well, because this video is being sponsored by PicsArt. So PicsArt is a really awesome web editor for photos and for things like thumbnails and graphics and all of that. And you can put different elements together to create a new design of your choice. They've got quite a few different features and tools, so today I'm going to walk you through how I might edit a thumbnail for a video. So this is PicsArt, and as you can see, you can start a new project here or select a, you know, preset size for different social platforms from down here. And so we're going to be creating a YouTube thumbnail. So I'm going to go to YouTube, and then YouTube cover is the thumbnail size. And what's great about these like preset sizes is that I can just click it and it'll create a canvas that is the exact dimensions that I need for my thumbnail. And then on the left here, you can see that PicsArt has these really great templates that you can use. You know, there's some premium ones that are really gorgeous. I particularly love the ones that have like the little graphic elements. And then on the right here, you can see there's like a little layer menu, and it just shows you the different elements of your design, and you can like shift them so that, you know, some are on top of the other, whatever it is, and you can delete them as well, which is really convenient. And so for today, I'm going to go to uploads, and what I'm going to do is click this upload button, and it'll give me a menu of my files, and I can pick an image that I've taken for a thumbnail. So I'm going to grab one from a previous video. So I grabbed this one from a book haul that I did a while back, and it's just uploading in. And so once it's uploaded in, I can just click this, and PicsArt will just add it to the editor right here, which is really great. And so from here, I can do one of two things. I find that for a lot of my thumbnails, what I do is just extend the size of the image so that it fits in the YouTube size, and then I'll just sort of adjust. And then what I can do is I'll go to text, and usually I just add like a piece of text that, like, you know, describes what the video is about. So for this one, it's a book haul, so I might just say a giant book haul. I can select all, and then I can go to font here. I can change the font to whatever I want. And I can also go to color here and change it to maybe a white. That's usually what I do. And so you can also like switch to this textiles panel here and like choose from these premium ones that are just really nice and like eye-catching. But I usually try to keep it pretty simple. So I'll just like select a font that I like, make sure like the sizing is good for what I want. So I'm gonna actually make this a little bit bigger, and I can like adjust this text box. So I'm gonna make this like this. And then what I can do is also add a shadow to this text. So I'm gonna go to shadow here, and then, you know, you can give it a different blur, whatever else. I'm gonna make it black. because I feel like black makes sense for a shadow. So there's the shadow there now. And I'm gonna make it a little bit offset from the text. But this just helps the text stand out from the background, which is what we want. And so, as you can see, this is a pretty good thumbnail. That's sort of like the basic thumbnail that I would do. But if I wanted to get a little bit fancier, I could do a few things. I could like change this to a fancy style here, these presets. So I'm gonna click on this star one, and then I'm gonna be like a giant book haul. And I need to extend this text box. But that's like kind of cool looking. I could put that here. And then another thing I could do is actually click on the image itself and edit it. So maybe I want to like remove the background on this and add like a cooler background. So I just select the image and then I go eraser tool. And then what I can do here is they have these different options on the left. And then I can either use like the brush here to just like erase parts of the background. And if I make the size of the brush bigger, I can do that. There's also this remove background feature that you can use to like completely remove the background using the AI feature. This can, you know, depend on how clear you are from the background. So I actually tried it on this photo and it didn't work as well, but I have tried it on a different photo. Sometimes it works a lot better on different photos that have like a clearer differentiation from, you know, the foreground and background. So if I bring this photo here on and go to remove background, this one actually worked really well. So if I click person, it's gonna remove the background and look at that. It's like almost perfect. And like the way it removed the background from around my hair, my frizzy hair, is just impeccable. So you can sort of use this as you see fit. I personally like the look where you have like the books in the background if you have a bookish background. But if you wanted to, you could like completely remove the background, add a different element in, and change it up as you want. So yeah, that's sort of how you can edit a thumbnail on PicsArt. I think it has some really great elements. They've also got like stickers here and like different free and premium ones if you wanted to add like a little cute element to your thumbnail. Say it's like a holiday-ish video. I could search holiday and I could add like stars or like balloons or like a Christmas tree, you know, get it into the vibe of whatever you're going for. So this is like a ribbony Christmas tree, which is pretty cute. So whatever you're feeling, you can, you know, create a thumbnail that fits that aesthetic or idea that you're going for. But for Booktube videos, it's pretty simple. You're just talking about books, so usually it doesn't require something totally fancy and you can keep your thumbnails pretty simple. So yeah, with that said, I think PicsArt is really great. And if you're looking to, you know, create thumbnails in a affordable web-based software, this is definitely the one to go for. I have a link down below if you want to go check out PicsArt, sign up, you know, grab a premium membership, whatever it is, or even just sign up for the free version. Check it out. I feel like it's a really great editor for those of you who don't really want to invest in like some of the more expensive tools. And as I said, the objective here is to just start and get yourself going, and you can invest in, you know, the more expensive tools later on. So if you're starting out, I think PicsArt is a really great option, and definitely go check it out using the link in my description. Alrighty, now we're on to editing. So as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not going to go too granular into editing. I feel like we could do a whole video on editing if we wanted to, but I'm gonna go through my basic process and also just some tips that you should consider. So my editing process has changed quite a bit since I first started my channel to now. I think this year in particular, in 2021, I changed my process a lot towards like the second half of the year. So my process before that was quite different. So my process for editing usually begins with me importing my footage from my camera, my SD card, into my computer. I used to import my footage directly onto my computer, but now I actually import it onto an external hard drive where I edit from, just because it helps things go faster with the things that I do now on my videos. And if you guys want an in-depth tutorial on how I edit my videos now, I can do that at some point, but I'll also leave you some links down below to some editing videos that I love. But when you're starting out, you can keep it simple. You can import it to your computer, make sure you have enough space on your computer. And then the main thing that you need to do once you get your footage onto a timeline on your editor is to do jump jump cuts. So jump cuts are basically what people call these sudden cuts in a clip of footage that help the flow of the video go better. So oftentimes you'll see me jumping around the screen and my sentences getting broken up sometimes because usually I'm using jump cuts. And the reason I'm using them is because I want to cut out all of the extra and extraneous information and words that I'm saying during the video. So this includes like random pauses, the random or like or you know that I usually throw in when I'm talking. And this also just includes like anything that shouldn't be in the video getting cut out. And so usually when I am filming, I actually just let the camera run endlessly. I don't cut it in between and I just continuously talk. And if I mess up, I just repeat my sentence again. And then when I edit, I just cut out all the parts where I messed up and then I put the video together. I hope that makes sense. I feel like sometimes this can be confusing for someone who's never edited a video before, but it's mainly straightforward. Just cut out all the parts that you don't want, and then you put everything together. And at first it'll feel like kind of sloppy and sort of slapped together, but you'll start to realize as you watch it through that you'll start to realize as you watch it through that it really and sort of slapped together. But you'll start to realize as you watch it through, and at first it'll feel like kind of sloppy and sort of slapped together, but you'll start to realize as you watch it through that it really helps the flow of the video. Because no one really wants to watch a video where someone's constantly being like, so like, and then I can't remember. That just gets tiring. You want the video to move at a consistent pace and feel like it's moving forward. So yes, jump cuts are your friends. That's like the biggest tip that I have. Once I edit the video down into this nice A-roll footage of like me talking to the camera, I will sometimes add on extra B-roll. B-roll is just basically what people call those extra clips that go over top a like main part of a video. So the main part of the video would be me talking, but if I put a clip over here of me like editing on my computer, that would be a bit of B-roll, and it would be relevant because I'm talking about editing, and so it's showing you something that I'm talking about. So you can choose to do this. You don't really have to. I feel like with Booktube, most of us don't really do B-roll all that much, but it's up to you. I feel like for vlogs, it's really nice, and for some sit-down videos where you're explaining something, it's really nice to have, but it's not a requirement. I think the main basic thing that you need for Booktube is just jump cuts so that what you're saying comes across clearly. Alrighty, we're finally on to the last section of this video, which is basically my after section. So what do you do after you upload? So these are just some like closing thoughts that I have of things you can do after you upload a video, and you know, aside from creating the actual content, and just ways to like get yourself engaged in the community. So number one thing you should definitely do is respond to your comments. I think responding to your comments just really shows your viewers that you care about their opinions and what they have to say, and whether that's just like hearting the video or saying thanks for sharing your thoughts, whatever it is, just showing them that you've seen the comment, that you care that they commented, really just helps out, because then they feel valued and they also want to comment again. Comments also just help you feel a sense of community and, you know, a level of appreciation for the things that you're doing. And I think I personally love reading comments on my videos, especially like the sweet ones. Obviously there are some rude comments every now and then, which like can be difficult to read and deal with, but I think for the most part on Booktube, most people are quite positive and supportive, and I just really appreciate that. So one of the highlights for me has always been reading your comments on my videos, which I absolutely appreciate you all for doing. So please continue to do that because I love them. Comments just brighten my day, to be honest. So yeah, there's something I look forward to every time I put out a video. Another thing you should definitely do is watch other booktubers' videos and comment on their videos. So the reason I say to do this is because it helps you build a sense of community with other people in Booktube. And I think when I started out, this is something that I did a lot of, and I, you know, made some friends and I got to know some people, and it felt like I wasn't alone in this as well. One of the reasons that a lot of booktubers start, I think, is because they want a sense of community. They want to talk about books with other people. And so the way you do that is actually talking to other people, complimenting someone's video, or, you know, engaging with something that they said in the video, or giving them your opinion on the book that they discussed about. I think that is just a really great way of just showing them that you enjoyed their content and that you care. I think the one thing to not do is just like endlessly promote your videos on other people's videos, because that just comes off really gross and salesy, and no one really wants that. And I think you should just try to meaningfully engage with people's content. And so those are my main tips on that front. I think at the end of the day, this should just be something that is fun. It shouldn't feel like a chore. It should feel like something you want to do and are excited to do. Whether you're just doing it as like a casual thing or you want to grow a channel and, you know, be a content creator, regardless of that, I think you should enjoy doing this, you know, talking to a camera, uploading a video and talking to people in the comments, getting to share your opinions. You know, all of this should be something that you are excited to do and enjoy, because it's going to be that enjoyment that actually takes you through longer and allows you to do this for a longer time. And so it's completely possible that you might start a booktube channel and, you know, like it initially and then start to grow tired of it and get lazy about it and not want to do it, and that is completely fine. I think trying it out never hurts, and it's a new set of skills that might be fun to learn. And of course, for every person who realizes that this isn't really for them, there's another person who realizes that this is something that they absolutely love and continue with it. So my hope is that a bunch of you will take this video as just like a quick primer and see that booktube is something that you might want to try. And I hope to see many of your channels in the future, because I'm just always excited to see more, you know, exciting and diverse faces in this landscape as well. So that's what I'm excited for, and I hope you guys will start a booktube channel in 2022. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much to PicsArt for sponsoring this video. You guys should definitely go check them out using the link in my description. It really helps on my channel when you guys use those links, and I do think PicsArt is just a really great resource for starting your channel and making your thumbnails start out, whether you're using the free version or using the premium version for quite a nice price. As always, if you haven't already, go check out my Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and TikTok in the description down below, and I will see you in my next video. So please remember that this story ain't over. Bye!